I don't care. And probably by your third one, they're just feral.
What, number 4?
Yeah.
Just get on with it.
Yeah, number 4 will be looking after themselves.
Well, yeah, like, in fairness, like, we are in a position where, like, Fliss is 12 and Zoe's 9 and, like, yeah. So
yeah, you see.
Everyone thinks we're mental.
No,
but actually...
You've staged it out well.
Well, possibly.
What you've done is you've grown your own babysitters.
Yeah. Well, and, in fairness, we're probably speaking too soon, because number 4 isn't here just yet.
No, I know. Nothing's a done deal, but
9 weeks, and it'll be due date.
Is that all?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Holy moly!
That'll soon be here, won't it?
Yeah, it soon will be here. Yeah.
Do you know who I feel sorry for?
Lucinda.
Yeah.
Your goddaughter.
Poor little... her nose is going to be so out of joint.
I know. I think that's going to be the worst bit, really.
I
don't know what she's going to do.
Kick off.
Yeah. She had her head laid on Lindsay's stomach, and he was kicking her from the inside. So he's doing that when he didn't even hear yet.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
No, I think it'll be fine.
Oh, it'll be what it'll be. That's what it'll be.
Well, exactly.
Touch wood. It'll all go to.
You deal with stuff when it crops up, and that's end of story.
Life into it.
Yeah.
So we're back in the workshop after last week. Our kitchen, because it was so windy, we couldn't hear anything. Hell, it was windy.
Rattling the roof and lights swaying. Electric kept going off.
Yeah, it kept flickering, didn't it? And at home it was doing the same.
Yeah.
I was surprised it didn't go off actually, because I think it went off in Newton. Well, it went off here and Dad was capped because his generator struck up.
Yeah.
So he's got a generator that will automatically kick in when the electric goes off. And it did, so.
At least I had an excuse for some dodgy welds. The electricity kept going, oh yeah, electricity was not right. What, all morning? What can I say?
Yeah. As per usual, you undersell yourself.
Maybe.
I think the flags were like flying. Those flags up there were fairly angled because the wind was coming
just
straight
knocking the
in.
dust off them, wasn't it? It was.
We had a fair bit of rain one night this week because it washed half the side of the pickup, and where it had run off the top at the other side, it had washed the gravel clean. Like, bloody hell. And I heard it in the night, and I thought, it's a fair bit of rain coming down. But
Yeah.
so yeah,
Which prompts me on to what I was messing about at the other day. Spent the whole afternoon on the roof of the shed.
have you?
Scraping moss off
Right.
and emptying the valley gutter.
Is that your lambing shed?
Yeah.
Right.
Because it was underneath where we did one of the videos.
Yeah.
Thankfully it wasn't raining at that point, but because it's such a shallow roof and there's such little overlap on the sheeting.
Yeah.
Sorry, that way. The moss that had grown was sort of making it dam back up.
Oh yeah.
So it was couldn't get out, and it was going underneath the sheets and dropping.
And
it was I couldn't understand what the hell was wrong till I got myself out onto that roof and I could see what was happening.
Because you wouldn't see that roof very easily from anywhere.
You can, well, it's not that high, and you go up the fields, you can see the roof,
right.
But you're far enough away that you can't see anything in detail. Because the best point of access is to walk along either side of the valley gutter.
Yeah.
And then you know that if you are putting a foot through or something bad does happen, you're landing on the gutter. You're never going to disappear.
Right.
But what I wanted to get to was quite some distance away.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I could choose where the purling is and tottle my way quietly across there, but I didn't really fancy it. So, what I did have was some 16-foot lengths of like roofing lats.
Oh yeah.
Just 2x1.
Yeah.
So I picked the best one of them with the least amount of knots in, and then I made, to fit on the end, out of some hard plastic, like a profile.
Oh yeah.
A profile to scrape with. Stuck that on the end, and off we went.
Yeah.
So it was like pole fishing almost. So I worked my way along either side, scraped it all down towards the middle, and then finished off, cleaned all that stuff up. But there was bucketful came off. I'm kind of wanting it to rain now, just to see if it's worked.
Right.
But yeah,
So it was worthwhile.
Well, there was a lot of stuff up there, and I'm surprised how does it make a start? What's it eating? Is it eating the fibre cement roof sheets
Yeah, what's it living
itself,
off?
or
Yeah.
or is it just the odd leaf that blows up there, or
I never even thought about that, to be honest.
because
I
it's
never
all well, yeah, and dust that might be trapped because it's where they start to grow. Up behind them slightly, there was like sediment and what
Yeah.
that
they're
got
trapping.
stuck. Yeah,
Right.
so it'll hopefully be a hell of a lot better, but I'm not the happiest at working up on roofs just for the problem of maybe falling through. But
Yeah.
it was sort of got used to it, but also I'm turning into an old man and my knees aren't what they were. And cleaning the valley gutter out, which is you're having to kneel onto roofing sheets,
Yeah.
which are horrible, and you're having to scoop something out, which is then like 9 inches below you. That's getting old. I'm not. This isn't
Yeah.
how I want to be, James.
Unfortunately, I think it's just a sign of the times.
Well, and I know the kids. I could have thrown one of them up there. You know, I could.
They're less
see.
chance of falling through because they're lighter.
Well, this was my thinking. You know, probably jump up and down on top of there, nothing would happen. And I can see how you know, like all these Dickensian sort of get up that chimney. I can see the appeal now.
Yeah.
Whew, I might get stuck. Off you go.
Oh well, interesting then. Wishing for rain. That's not well. Just to prove that you've solved your roof problem.
Well, yeah. I want to know that it's done some good anyway, at least. But no, I'm not wishing for rain because everywhere's a splodgy, horrible mess.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Especially after it freezes, because our yard's just it's mostly grass, but the bit that's hardcored, when it freezes, the ground sort of lifts.
Yeah.
And then it goes off again. And then it just seems to, I don't know how, but it seems to bring a lot of shit up to the surface.
Yeah.
And it's, oh God, it's a right puddly mess. And then you've got to go around, sort of scrape it all off again and start again.
Our bit of yard at home, not very big, just where we park the 2 cars. I think it's doing the same there. We have been there 8 years, but yeah, this year has been a particularly annoying from a point of view of just don't able to get anywhere without trudging through mud.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
Plus you're right next to the house, so it's
not far.
easily brought in.
Well, yeah, that's half the trouble, like. Try and keep the house clean and just end up with mud everywhere.
Well, yeah, I'd laid a load of hardcore where we parked the cars at home, and it was all lovely. And then I decided to drive over it quite a few times with the tractor.
All right.
It was to move something, so it wasn't out of devilment or whatever. So now it's all.
Let's start again.
It's all rutted and it's mucky, and it's enough to ground the Mini out on anyway. So, right, we're parked.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so I'll have to sort that out.
Good.
There's I have to do a lot of work on infrastructure at the moment. There's a lot of stuff that needs attention. Yeah, it's going backwards. It was just about hanging on when we got there, or had been rolled in glitter, shall we say.
Right.
But this glitter is now washed off. So yeah, we need to do quite a bit of work.
And you also have the unhelpful what do you call them, band of monkeys called the national parks to deal with.
I want to hear a bad word said against them, James. Sorry, I don't know where this is
Because
coming
getting
from,
planning
James.
is so easy.
They're just, in fact, they're openly willing you to build stuff just everywhere. Just get on with it, yeah? We want a metropolis.
Yeah.
Get on. Yeah, go on. Whatever will help your business, you go and build it. Don't hold back. Don't hold back on size. No, just get it built. Yeah, we know that wagons with loads on can be 16, 17 foot high. We know they can, so just go 20, give yourself a bit more room, yeah? Don't stick to 12. No, don't stick to 12. That would be ridiculous, yeah? We're not going to hold you back down to that sort of size. And you might be next to a main road, all the better, 'cause then you're not having to dig into a greenfield site. It doesn't matter how big it is. These people that are coming to the Dales, they like seeing this stuff. They do. They like to see infrastructure of buildings. It's what they're here for. Yeah? They're not here for the green fields and the Tweedy birds and the little lambkins.
I shouldn't worry. It's all going to be solar panels if the government get away. So,
energy. It's the big thing, isn't it? We'd
just,
rather have energy than food.
well, I just heard today that there was, during the Conservative government, they were granted permission to drill for oil and gas in the North Sea, and that has now been revoked because it said that the Conservative government went about it the wrong way. That's all I've heard. I'm thinking, bloody hell. So whatever they're on with, they're going to have to stop and start the whole process again. Which the only winner out of that whole job is the solicitors, because they will be on massive money.
Yeah.
Like, you just think that's going backwards as well. We're not in a position where we can't rely on oil yet. I know that's what everyone wants to get, but we're a long way from that.
I still think you want to be looking at. I'm not sold on solar panels. I'm really not sold on it.
No.
Because of the amount of effort that goes into making them. They're probably better than they used to be, but the early ones took more energy to make than they would ever realise.
Anything that the government subsidises to make it happen, to my mind, you've got to look at it seriously as to whether it's viable at all. Because they're not doing it for the benefit of you that they're subsidising it. There's an ulterior motive.
They're just trying to hit a target.
Yeah.
They're just
And using you to do it.
It seems so ill-advised or ill-informed at times.
Yeah.
Just the incentives that are there, just because that's the next big buzz. Who the hell's looked into it? Who's sat down, crunched numbers?
I watched one of the PX Farms videos on YouTube last night, and I really like him.
Explain who this youth is, James.
Well, I think he's called James Peck. PX Farms runs a big farm down in several counties around Cambridgeshire, and he put in for a grant, and DEFRA over the Christmas period contacted him when he was off, and most people were off, to say that they were going to cancel his grant on whatever it was. I don't know what it was, but it was like it was into the tens of thousands of pounds for whatever reason. And then because he didn't respond, because he was off over Christmas, cancelled it, just done away with it. And like he was, well, as you would be, they'd spent a lot of money to apply for this grant, to then have it taken off them, having been granted it, to then have it revoked with no consultation, no conversation, no anything. So like, you can't trust the government to agree, like, to grant funds something nowadays. They just, because at a heartbeat, they'll just take it off you. Then you've done the cost of all the jumping through all their hoops to get the grant.
Yes.
And then probably gone ahead with it. So it's cost you more to get that grant in the first place.
Yep.
And then, I just thought, that's not good.
I do not like when the playing fields are not level. When, for instance, hill farming and subsidies, there's some people that manage to get onto a rather good gravy train, and they will admit they've been getting well paid for not a lot.
Yeah.
You know. But there's other people that have had to. I think someone had to do. I was talking to someone in order to get granting of funding to do something, they had to do a feasibility study, which itself was going to be in the tens of thousands, and then they weren't guaranteed any funding or to be accepted. Sorry,
Yeah.
to be accepted for it at the end of it.
Right. That's an odd
So
start, isn't it?
it's a bit of It could have been an investment, but you're not guaranteed. And the
big issue with that is the person who makes the decision. You aren't going to speak to them, are you? They'll be in an office somewhere. So you've got
no.
If you were to go down that road, like most buying decisions, you're talking to the people that you need to talk to make that decision. Whereas if you're going down that road, you've got no control or no influence on that person, which some would say you shouldn't have, but equally, if they're going to spend tens of thousands of pounds on a feasibility study...
Yeah, each case should be done on its own merits, but this was something I should come better informed with the absolute details, but...
Why?
Well, not with because that would then say who it was.
Yeah.
But I'd rather, if I'm going to tell a story, I'd rather have some details. But because every case is different.
Yeah.
But I think that's the fundamentals of it: is that no two farms are alike.
Yeah.
No two cases are alike. It's the whole mantra now is public goods for public money.
Yeah.
So if farmers, basically the basic payment is being phased out to practically, to nothing.
Yeah.
So farmers who were farming and dependent upon this are having to reevaluate things.
Yeah.
Personally speaking, it helped a hell of a lot, but we've had to look into other avenues. I know we've done some tree planting, and rightly or wrongly, because again we put forward certain regions to plant trees, and no, they weren't right. No, we want them here, or we want them there, and we want them. And the consultation period wasn't brilliant, and in the end they've ended up going in places where I wouldn't have put them, and if anything they've gone with the best pieces of land rather than being suiting everybody and taking up worse areas and making them better. I would argue that they've gone with some of the better ones.
Amazing.
And once there's a tree planted on it, I would say that's it now. That's wooded forever now. Yeah. I wouldn't like to see. The only way I would think that you would be able to get any wooded areas back into production without incurring any penalties from anybody is if the country was hungry.
Mm.
And there's only one real way that that's going to happen, and that's if there's quite a bit of upset in the world.
Yeah.
Which there's quite a bit now, but
yeah, we're quite a way off that, aren't we?
There's a lot of people shielded from it. But it goes back to the whole energy thing. The country would rather have energy than food.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it?
Having said that,
because in fairness, and this has been over time, we've been reducing the number of people who are involved in agriculture. So I would say not just farmers. But I'd include myself in that, because our business is supplying agriculture, and there's tractor dealers and all machinery dealers, insurance brokers, vet practices that are solely large animals. As a proportion of the population, actually, it doesn't make up a lot of people relative to the fact that the industry is supplying food to supply 60% of the country's food requirement.
Yes, a few people are doing a lot.
Yeah.
It didn't used to be that way, simply because one person could do a lot more than they used to be able to through mechanisation. Yeah,
but I always think there's a bit of a double-edged sword there, because one person has to do more than they ever used to, because the margins are so tight now.
Oh, yeah.
but also the people aren't there who want to do the work anyway. So that's driven innovation to then make it possible for one person to do more work. The example would be, there's any number of examples, but robot milking machines is one example.
Well, how many people did we speak to at Lama who said staffing is just a joke?
Well, it's not. The other thing is, it's everybody you speak to, but it's not everybody. It's everybody you speak to in every industry.
Really?
It's just, I speak to people in all sorts, and you always comes back to, well, they can't get staff, or those that can get are not worth it. So you may as well just stick on your own and just row your own boat, because the risk. And I would argue as well, now more than ever, with what the government have done, the incentive to employ people is just not there, because the potential for cost expense for no reward as a business is too great. So if you employ somebody now, they've got full rights from day one.
Really?
So if you employed somebody, they could turn around today. They could turn around tomorrow. This is how I understand it, and say, "I'm pregnant. I'm going on maternity leave."
And you've had nothing off them.
And I do know a business that actually happened to a few years ago, and it wasn't immediately, but it was quite soon after that business was established. Employed somebody, and within months, they were on maternity leave, which then means you have to find someone else for 12 months. Which, I'm not saying it's at the full cost of business, but there is a cost of business, financially and in the time finding the replacement.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just think, there's no incentive to employ people, because I'm not saying workers shouldn't have rights. I'm just saying I think the balance is too far one way.
So what are you putting the cause of this down to then? What are you putting the cause of a lack of not only capable but willing staff?
Because some of it, a lot of people have had it too easy. They won't admit it, but and what I would say that's controversial, going back to what you said about subsidies, if a lot of people look back now and saw what they got in subsidies over the years, I think it was certainly easier then than it is now.
Yeah.
And I do have a bit of a... So the government did launch a scheme to basically pay off older farmers to stop farming, to get them to move on. And I have a real problem with that, because they've already had a load of money in subsidies. They've already had... There
was a golden generation just for a bit that ran through that never had a worry in the world.
Well, not only that, but set aside, getting paid to go nothing. Like, you think about that now, that's just like mental.
Even when that was on, and I was younger, you would talk to some of these, because I'd never really associated with many arable farmers till we went to college, but you'd talk to people about it and it would just boil my piss, because you'd just be talking about all this set of... Go and put some grass seed in. I want some silage, or I want some sheep away for winter.
Yeah.
Put some bloody grass in and let's have them graze it off.
And let's be honest, it's no different now to being paid to put wildflowers in on arable land, and the money they're getting for that is incredible. Like, what is that?
Yes.
So anyway, yeah.
But
we're into dangerous territory.
But I would argue that, little do we realise, there is a huge value in keeping the bees happy.
Yes, I agree with that. From growing pumpkins, we know that. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I just think being paid to put acres and acres of like arable land in it. Surely the compromise would be like plant a strip around the outside of a field. Because then you've got
kind of what they were doing, isn't it?
No, it's full
or
fields.
Is it blanket? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like your buffer strips that were full of...
No, it's full fields. Yeah. And is it £460 a hectare or something like that to put it in? And yeah, I'm getting to territory where I did know the answer, but I can't remember fully, so I better shut it off.
It'll be horrendous, won't it?
Yeah. So anyway, it just, yeah. And I just think, yeah, there's a lot, yeah. Just the whole, like, we both know that farming's mental. Like, if someone actually, with any common sense, looked at it and said, this is what you do, this is your working conditions, this is the money that's involved, this is how much a tractor costs, and you're going to pay for that off this, they'd just say you're absolutely crackers.
Yep.
But I wouldn't want to do anything else. I've never wanted to do anything else.
Even if I went and had, say for instance, had to work in an office, which it's funny what you would do if you had to, if things really depended on it. I would still need to get out and about, and like you'd get in on a night and then I'd probably be out in a shed tinkering, or on a weekend I'd be
at something.
I'd be at something, or
Yeah.
If anything, the family would probably see even less of me if that was the case. But yeah, I would.
So I wouldn't say I was born into farming, but I never wanted to do anything else, and I've never really worked that out until I was watching an episode quite a few years ago now of Deadliest Catch, where you've got the fishermen who are going out of Peterhead in the northeast coast of Scotland into the North Sea in some of the most horrendous weather, and I'm thinking, you are absolutely crackers. I would never do that in a million years. I couldn't think of anything worse.
Yeah.
And they asked him, why do you do it? And they just said, because we've never wanted to do anything else. And I just thought, well, that explains to me why I do what I do, because I've never wanted to do anything else. So, yeah.
It's not like these explorers or adventurers off somewhere, off to really inhospitable territory, kind of by themselves. Oh, it's what we want to do.
Yeah.
I think, well, yes, that's all well and good, but when it goes wrong, someone's got to come get you.
Yeah, someone's got to come find you.
Unless you sign a piece of paper at the start saying, I'm going here by myself, I understand the risks.
Yeah.
If it goes wrong, that's it.
Yeah. It's my own fault.
Well,
in fairness, that's a fair point, because at least they're accepting responsibility. We do seem to be living in an age where entitlement is just insane. People seem to think they're entitled to so much.
I think we're getting onto this generational thing. It goes back to the whole, like you said, about trying to find decent staff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people aren't willing, they're not willing to go either the extra little mile, or just put up with a bit of shit, or just, do the hard stuff.
Yeah.
And and the entitlement thing, do you think it's because we went through have we gone through too much of a lefty phase, and bringing kids up in that environment where there's, for instance, there's the school race where no, everyone was a winner, everyone gets a medal. Well, no,
you're just setting them up to fail.
Yeah, no, must try harder. Or that person's really fast. He came first because that's one of his attributes. That's what he's good at. Whereas the rest of you might be far better in a classroom or something.
Yeah, everyone's good at something. It just so happens he's good at that.
Learn your skill, or learn your place. Running isn't for you. But they're having to have the rest of the world bending to you.
Yeah.
Or for instance, everyone needs to be involved and everybody needs to be part of, say for instance, playing football. Oh no, we all need to be involved. Well, that's fine at a certain age, just to get people involved and encouraged. Fine, but there comes a certain point where the good will carry on. But if they're having to, if it's interrupting the play of a game just to involve others, oh no, we must pass to little Timothy here, or whatever. Even though Timothy doesn't even want to be on the field probably.
He knows he's rubbish, doesn't want to play it.
I just
Would rather be doing something else.
I just wonder whether that whole,
Yeah.
oh no, you can't. Oh no, but they'll be offended.
Well,
and all that bollocks.
I think the trouble is they're being set up to fail because when they get to a certain age and they decide, actually, I'd like to go and see the rest of the world, and then they go to a part of the world where it isn't like that, they are just going to get minced. Because the real world will say, we don't play by that nonsense. We play by the way the real world is, and I just think it's just a non-starter.
Yeah. I spent a period doing a bit of fill-in work, teaching at Myerscough College.
Yeah, in Lancashire, between Preston and Garstang.
Yeah. And there was a strange mentality there, in that they basically needed all of the students to do as well as they could, simply because it looked better and it kept them on the books and it kept things afloat, which was fine. But it also encouraged a mentality in the kids that they could kind of do whatever they wanted because they weren't going to get chucked off the course.
Yeah.
So there was an entitlement side of things there, but there's also someone there that there was a few of them. I did a little bit of a test with them and failed quite a few because they'd given it the big, oh yeah, no, we can do that, I can do that, yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. I thought, alright then, fine, well, we'll find out, prove it. Got round to test time. No, I don't know what I'm doing. No, it turns out, no, I didn't have a clue. And I was just full of mouth. And then they turned round and complained enough to the people above me to get me to retest them. I'd give them a little encouraging nudge.
Right.
I thought, well, fine. I mean, it probably reflected badly on me, the fact that I hadn't drilled it into them enough to pass. But when they're turning around and going, oh yeah, no, we know all this. No, that's fine. No, this is boring. We know all this. And it turns out I didn't have a clue. And I thought, well, these are the people that we're kicking out, or a lot of institutions will be guilty of it. Those are the people that you're kicking out into industry. Industry expecting them with those credentials are thinking, oh, brilliant, they're going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. Let's kick them out. Off you go.
Yeah.
Whereas in reality, they're going to kick them out into the real world, and they're just going to be stood there like bloody rabbits in the headlights.
And that doesn't do the college any good, because then people go, well, they can't train people.
It does nobody any good.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, the last ones that we had from there were crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not singling Myerscough out by any means. There'll be a lot of institutions on the same thing.
Yeah.
That it helps them to the higher the grade that they can be seen to be getting people, then the more people that they will attract.
Yeah.
But there's a tightrope to walk there.
Yeah.
Because if you shoehorn in people through an H&D or a degree or whatever, then there's a point when they have to stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah. Well, the trouble is as well, I do think that people aren't aware of what they're doing to children by pandering to them and setting them up to fail.
Yeah.
And I've said to our girls, really, if we can get them to the point where they are capable of communicating,
yep,
polite, and basically will work,
yeah,
they're going to do really well because they will be in a minority.
They're going to have a huge head start on the rest of society.
A growing proportion of society.
Yep. Just churning these kids out that just, oh no, well I don't want to. I still think that there was that period, I don't know what it's like now, it probably still is, but where kids just had too much power. There'd be stories I'd hear coming back from school, not when our kids were at school, but before then, stories coming back of kids just mouthing off to the teachers or slapping, even hitting the teachers, or just, calling them all the names under the sun. And That wouldn't have flown when we were at school.
No. And also, what does bug me about that is that the school gets the blame for it, whereas that's just bad parenting. Like,
yeah.
the fact that a child thinks it's acceptable to hit a teacher is not right.
No, and don't get me wrong. There's kids out there that are wired up a little differently.
Yeah,
and
don't doubt that.
They do need the help. All right, that's just, I understand this, but for the vast majority, you still know right from wrong.
Yeah,
and
it's bewildering, isn't it?
It's the fact that the school's hands are tied. You can't do. I still think that a sharp slap should be allowable. Like the police, I still think that the police should be able to administer a bit of a slapping. You know, if someone's you see it on TV with these, you know, they're trying to apprehend someone, and the rest of everyone's up round in their faces and giving it gob, and they say, "Just walk away, sir, walk away." No, get your baton out and give them a smack up the side of the head. I told you to move. I still think that should be.
And they would probably get that in other countries.
Well, yeah, definitely. Oh, would you like to mouth off to a Russian policeman? No.
Oh, American.
Well, or even American, yeah. I'll shoot you first, and then we can talk.
Yeah. And when you're dead,
yeah,
then we'll have a squaring up session. It's like
I admit that. Yeah, you can go far too far the wrong way, but I still think that give them back a bit more.
But equally, like this is what the sort of the impact of social media now means that situations quite quickly get taken out of context and publicised as being, oh, this is what was happening, but actually the bit beforehand and the bit afterwards is the important bit that gives the context that's been cut out.
Yeah.
And I just think, oh, really? So,
yeah, but even then I would still think that the true story will come out, won't it?
well, yeah, it does eventually.
Yeah.
But by then, everyone's already made up their mind.
But then again, so long as the public can make a bit of a snap decision on something, but ultimately, they'll have no say in it anyway, so it's no real harm done.
No, but equally, if a situation with the police has been presented in a certain way, and then
yeah,
if a situation has been presented in a certain way because of social media, it is the police that ultimately will pay the price, because by the time the truth comes out, the damage is already done.
I agree with the dog. Yeah, there is that. Yeah, but I still, it's the whole namby-pambiness of everything. Just basically, your actions will have repercussions.
Yeah. And you've got to take responsibility for that.
Yeah, take responsibility for it. Be warned. If you're gobbing off in a policeman's mouth or just making a nuisance of yourself, or just expect a slap.
Yeah.
Or if you know, the whole cancel culture thing. Ooh, we'll cancel you. Shut up. God, just go and do something productive.
Yeah.
Just piss off.
Yeah. It's quite frustrating, isn't it?
What?
Society.
Over nothing.
Mm.
Oh, I'm offended. Be offended. I don't care.
No.
In fact, the more offended you are, if anything, it's making me more willing to just push you that bit further.
But also, yeah, welcome to the real world.
Well, yeah, exactly. Do you have anything that you want to share with the world, apart from passwords?
Oh, yeah. After this morning's, this week I've been using SolidWorks. So anybody who runs their own business, who may be an engineer of some sort, and wants to be happy, contented, just a nice, easy life, do not use SolidWorks, because it is absolutely infuriating. So what happens is basically SolidWorks, and there's always somebody out there that goes, oh well, it's the user, right? if it's always the user, I don't doubt that it's sometimes I'm at fault. Yeah. And I used to think it was my computer because my computer was like 14 years old. It was quite a good computer at the time, but we were pushing it. Well, I've got a new computer, so it's not the computer that's at fault anymore. And I'm kind of disappointed that I thought getting a new computer would sort out all the frustration to have with SolidWorks. But when you're working on SolidWorks and doing something relatively simple, it crashes. And you're like, really? So it crashed twice this morning, doing something like not asking a lot of it, because bear in mind it is capable of a lot of stuff, as is my computer. It wasn't trying that hard and it crashed twice. And it's just infuriating because you pay a lot of money for the software. You then pay a lot of money every year for the maintenance of that software to basically have the license and the support, which seemingly is going towards them fixing faults with it, because you get service packs that are released every so often. You don't run on the newest version because that's the one they're working on fixing with the service packs. So you run on the previous version. So I'm on 2024, the first version. And then when it won't do what you want it to do, and you ring them up and say, "I'm trying to do this," and they are really polite and helpful. I don't doubt they get the raw end of it quite often. But if you've been fine with it, it does get really infuriating. You ring them up, and then you're sat there for 20 minutes while they try and work out why it's not doing what you want it to do. And
that sounds very strange, sir. I don't understand what you... No. Obviously, it needs to be around this.
Yeah, and it was quite insane is when they come on and they're like, "Oh, yeah," and then they're like, oh, actually, oh. And then they've hit a wall when they say, "Can we download your files onto our computer and we'll work it out and then we'll send them back to you?" So it's quite entertaining when they do that, because you're like, yeah, it wasn't that easy, was it?
No.
And it's quite reassuring from my point of view, because I'm like, well, maybe I'm not as rubbish at this as...
So once they've got the gist of it and taken your files off you, they will spend the next probably hour running through every step that you have done previously before then trying something else. I
do wonder if, because they end up doing stuff late in the night, early in the morning when they aren't there, and I do wonder sometimes I ought to just try it, not get frustrated with it, not get annoyed with it, and if it's not working, just say, right, stop. I'll ring them up and let them sort it out. I think maybe I'm just too pig-headed. And this morning, in fairness, she could probably tell what I was doing. I was like, I'm not sitting here while they try and work this out. So I made myself a cup of tea. I was doing all sorts of random jobs while I was still on the phone to them. And they said, can you see what I've just done? I was like, just give us a minute. I'll have to run back to office. Look, I didn't just see that bit. Just which bit was that? Because I do try it in fairness. I do try. And like if they've done something, solve a problem, it's in my interest to know what it is.
Yes.
So that next time I come up against it, I can sort it out. But Christ, it was driving me batty. But the trouble is, it puts me in a foul mood for the morning. I gave myself a headache just because I was that wound up with it. And I just think, bloody hell, this is
tedious to carry on.
What an easy life and happier life I would have if I didn't have to use SolidWorks. And I have looked at alternatives, and the trouble is, when you get into one of them, like all my files now are SolidWorks files. And I seriously looked at an alternative last year, but I think first of all, it was invoiced in dollars. I was like, well, that's helpful. And I sort of chicken, Well, I decided I'd be better off just swapping my computer as going down that road, because I was going to have to swap the computer anyway at some point.
Yeah.
And making what would be quite a rash decision to sack off SolidWorks altogether. But don't get me wrong, some of the stuff it can do, and sometimes I'll sit down and I'll do stuff on it, and I'm like, hell, I'm surprised at myself that, first of all, I managed it, and second of all, it just seemed to work.
Knocked it out in tidy fashion. Yeah.
You sit down to do something thinking, this is going to be a battle, and then it just works. You're like, why doesn't it work like that all the time? So just a bit of advice for anybody. SolidWorks can ruin your life.
Yeah, but it's...
My mental health is in tatters because of SolidWorks. I'm not on board with it. That's not my thing. The whole... Yeah.
You need a mental health day,
yeah,
is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not on board with that. Get on with it. But anyway, just, yeah.
What you're saying is you still need to do something, but just have a change.
Well,
and
yeah.
that sort of clears your head a bit.
Well, yeah, I went and
do
did some other
something
stuff.
else.
Yeah.
Don't just do nothing, but just do something.
Well, yeah,
else.
because like you can just spend hours fighting with it, and like you're thinking this is going to be easy, and it's not being easy. So yeah, just
fight it.
Walk away from it. But then the trouble is you never get back to it. So then a job keeps going on and on and on, and you're like, next thing you know, a month's down the road, and you're like, still haven't finished that. So yeah, SolidWorks is
pain.
Not all it's cracked up to be.
You're painting a bad picture here, James.
Rightly so. It's overpriced. They shouldn't be fixing some of the fixes that they're having to fix with these service packs that they relentlessly bring out. Because surely, SolidWorks has been around for a long time now.
How difficult can it be?
Well, seemingly impossible. But if you were a proper conspiracy theorist.
What are you thinking now?
What's the word? Conspiracy.
Yeah, conspiracy.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
You would think they do it on purpose, just to keep you paying them money.
Yeah, but at what point do you become expensive and rubbish and still think that you can keep going? Because someone will come and eat your breakfast.
What, like Zero did with Sage?
Yeah. Pretty much. Well, we were talking to Mike and his IT gurus, and
yeah,
he said suddenly we're paying a lot of money for nothing.
Yeah.
And
it was an eye-opener, wasn't it? We're not going to say how much.
I can't remember exactly what he said, but
yeah, paying a lot of money.
Oh, we're going to charge you this for that. No, you're not.
Yeah, and it didn't fix it. Like, bloody hell.
Yeah.
Well, so that's my version of his situation is pay a load of money for software that you're like, really? Why are we still fighting with it? So anyway, right, that's my rant for today, and we best get on. It is quite cool, and
it is a bit nippy. Yeah. What is it? 2 degrees in here?
Yeah, I think it will be.
3.
So we'll strike the space heater back up, get the temperature raised up a bit.
Yeah, so I can blow all the gas away from the end of the welding nozzle, so I can make some more aero, metallic aero. Num num num. Right. Yeah, bash on.
Thanks for watching, and thank you to everybody who is watching. We do appreciate it, and any feedback is much appreciated. Getting little bits now and then.
Yeah, don't be shy, people.
No, we are interested, and I did get a picture the night Vicky was watching in the middle of the night whilst Hector was awake, keeping her up. So yeah. Hi, Vicky.
Is that our demographic then?
Well, seemingly.
The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, when you've finished YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube has nothing more to give you.
Yeah, you get to us.
Yeah. Oh, what are these two idiots? It's only honestly half of the views are people that have fallen asleep in front of the TV, and the algorithms thought, oh, I'll just pop one of these and just fill the time in while they're asleep, so they don't see it.
You know, remember on the old tellies when you got that screen that came up, which is like the filler screen. It's like,
yeah. Right. Bash on.
Right.